Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Wednesday, September 7th, 2016. Short week, one day in with the Monday holiday. Let's look at the ES Front 1 Futures contract. This is the daily chart. The broad market, the S&P 500 in futures format. This is the proper way to look at the market. And we now have 12 bars up after today. Which means one more update would give you a 13 sell signal. The last time we had that was the top for 2 months in the market. So any positivity at all here in the market on Wednesday would lead to that signal. Be aware of that. Other than that, it wasn't a very exciting session. Small gap up and didn't really go far in the end. A little bit of bifurcation. But the good news was volume started to pick up a bit. Based on what we've seen the last 2 weeks, we did get to 1.6 billion Nasdaq shares, and we'll take a look at that here in a moment. All right, let's take a look at some of the indices that we always watch. Here's crude oil, 44.8250, up 37 cents. Still a pretty low reading. I mean, it's a cup and handle forming if you look at the chart here over the last 10 months or so. But obviously last year we were down quite a bit. Gold, 27.80, up 27.80 to 1354.50. So that's a big move for gold. Like I said, the S&P was up 6.5, not a big deal. The NDX was up 30. That does put us above. So this is the first time we've actually closed above the risk line from that sell signal over a month ago, or about a month ago. Does that mean we're topped out? I don't know. All you have to do is take out today's high yet tomorrow, and it busts the risk line. We'll see what happens. Or if you head lower from here, it's still in play. Stocks actually lost $1.85, and biotechs are up 38.03. That's kind of a blip. We're still under the 10-day moving average there. The VIX was up 4 cents to 12.02, and let me see. Does that give us? Here comes a sound. I'll beat this first. If I go to projection mode, no, we did not yet get a 13. Probably because we're not under the 8. So we're not quite on a buy signal on the VIX. But the buy signal on the VIX and the sell signal on the broad market would work together, obviously. The trend got a 0.78 reading. And let's see, let's count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we did, that's why the moving average dropped. We did just drop off the 10-day moving average, that big number up at around 1.75 in favor of a 0.76 number. So that's actually pretty significant on the moving average. Tomorrow will drop off a number around 1. And then on Thursday, we'll drop off a number around 1.5 and everything will be lower. We could get to a 0.85 moving average real quick here by end of the week, potentially, if we get some low readings. That would also be a sell signal on the market finally coming together. And it is that time of year, folks. September is historically the most negative month of the year. It's the only month of the year that doesn't have a positive return over the last 100 years averaged out. So just be aware of that. Obviously, you start to see these signals line up and know that math, and you got to be at least a little bit aware of it. So the good news is, even though we didn't have a lot of movement in the afternoon, we got a little bit of volatility early. It wasn't clear cut, but we did get some. And here's why there's good news. Just the first day back from Labor Day, it's Tuesday. People still getting recovered and back to it. But look at the volume, 1.6 billion on the Nasdaq. That's the biggest volume day in a month. Sad to say. So, again, exactly what we wanted. A little bit better volume, maybe each day. Let's get going. Let's get that volume back up to 1.8, 1.9 billion and get back to work. Advanced decline ratio on the Nasdaq plus 221, not a big deal. Advanced decline ratio on the New York plus 532, also not a big deal. Google gains $11.15 all the way back to that stat. Look at that. Hits the green static trend line almost to the penny on an $800 stock from that 13 sell signal a while back. And that is almost a new closing high in Google. Apple lost 3 cents. Doesn't really matter. Amazon up 16.43. New closing high now in Amazon, but, and there it is, that gives you a 13 sell signal on Amazon. So we're going to have a 13 sell signal on Amazon and potentially on the broad market and maybe a buy signal on the VIX. None of that's positive, and the trend could give us a sell reading as well later in the week. Netflix up 271 and Tesla, yeah, right off. Look at that, right on that red. How perfect is that? Right on that red static trend line, and if I go to projection mode, there's your 9th bar startup phase. All right, let's look at the intraday action here just to see how the week started out. Remember, there's Friday's action off to the left, Thursday's action way off to the left, and then Friday we gapped up and closed right where we started. Then you've got some what I call pretend trading on Monday for the holiday. The futures are open, but nobody's there. And then, so Tuesday we get a little gap up. We sold off to fill the gap. We did come down. We hit the static trend line. That's the red line exactly. Isn't that amazing? Truly amazing. Curled back up. And then that was pretty much it. We were dead flat all the way into the last 15 minutes of the day. So you got the last 15 plus the 15 after is basically the rally that you see there on the ES. Otherwise, we're flat all day. Nasdaq side, pretty much the same story, except for it was a little stronger early, then pulled back to fill the gap to, remember, it's Friday's close. It's not the Monday action that matters because that was a holiday. And then we got a 13 sell signal over lunch. That was the high of the session. Never busted the risk line. Good technicals all the way across the board. That's because volume is back. All right, so what do we have to look forward to tomorrow on Wednesday? MBA Mortgage Index at 7 a.m. Eastern. JOLTS job openings 30 minutes in. Crude oil, I think, is not coming out, even though it says it. That's usually getting moved to Thursday on a short week. Fed beige book at 2 in the afternoon. Not much left for data the rest of the week, but the key here is just, can we just continue to see volume get a little bit better? I'd love to see 1.7 billion tomorrow and people getting back to work for the next 8 months, hopefully. Anyways, charts as usual brought to you by eSignal 12. If you have not taken a trial of our services, now's a great time to do so. Better than last week. Have a great trading week.